Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another Fire Friday. I am so excited for you guys to meet my friend, Yvette Kendrick, someone that is just full of love, purpose, passion, and just also very spunky, guys, and has a remarkable story. And just her and her husband, Kevin Kendrick, are now amazing partners, but just amazing community leaders and have built such a remarkable business. Welcome, Yvette.
Thank you. I'm so excited and nervous,
You
but
know why
I'm
you're laughing? It's because you were nervous. You were like, "What do I say? What do I said, just be you, babe. Just
yes.
be you." You know, Fire Friday is all about bringing amazing people, people that have a story, people that just are able to bless people and happen to be in real estate in some capacity. The majority, whether they work in real estate, title, mortgage, executives, we have had everybody from all walks of
Right.
life ever since we started this in the pandemic. And I remember when I, talked to you about being on it. You're just so aligned with it. So I need you to just have a moment of grace and just know you are here because you belong here. And I just
Yes.
want to welcome you because these stories are, it's not even about business. It's about how the journey, what we've learned along the way, the journey, right? And I want people to get to know you, get to know your heart. And this is obviously today called a conversation about heart, purpose, and passion, which I know you are very passionate about. So tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about that and who you are. I mean, not just your name, but your story.
Well, I guess we can start with I'm a big city girl from Chicago and I am freezing today, which is crazy. Like I grew up in below zero weather and I'm so cold, but big city girl at heart, moved to Orlando in 2006 and just wanted to come and be closer to my parents and family, which had migrated prior to me coming. And yeah, just married to Kevin. We got married in 2012. We were each single parents for 5 years before we got together, and we're a blended family. We each have one son. We call them our bonus sons.
Oh,
And
I love
yeah, that's pretty. I mean, that's kind of like the surface stuff, right? I don't know like how deep you want to go, but
You go as deep as you want, but obviously your former career before real estate, where you were
yes.
in the legal field. Obviously, I'm sure that prepared you a lot for being in real estate. Just the professionalism, I'm assuming that industry is pretty tough as well, pretty
Yeah.
competitive. But who cares about what we do for a living? Let's talk a little bit about what we just, dream about, right? That purpose, the things that we want to do, the impact that we
Yeah.
want to live and that we want to leave on the world, right? And the first time you and I met we had met before. You and Kevin were doing a husband and wife kind of power couple meetup. Like you guys are
Yeah.
like, guys, let's do this. We want to have this meetup. And you invited, I would say, some of the who's, right, in our market of couples. And I want to touch base on that. You guys are busy professionals. This was years ago. This was at least, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago. I
Yeah.
remember that. And it left an impact on me. And I saw that you guys were like, hey, we just want to bring a bunch of great people together. No agenda, just people coming together to meet. That was my first time meeting you, and you were so welcoming. You were so sweet. And then I was like, oh, wait, Kevin Kendrick is married to a spicy Puerto Riqueña Latina, just like me. That was
Yes,
my
girl.
initial thought of you. But then, it was so nice. You guys brought so many amazing people together. Let's talk a little
Yeah.
bit about that.
Yeah.
Why? What was your purpose behind that? And then I want to lead into your community contribution and something that is I think, as I've gotten to know you, a very, very important goal for you through purpose, passion, and what
Yeah.
your tiny home, your little dream of that house.
Yeah. So really the going back to that meetup like 5 years ago, that really stemmed from a place of like Kevin and I really wanting to be around other husband and wife teams, right? We were new to this. As you said, I was in the corporate environment in the corporate world for many years. He was in the classroom. He was he still is he'll always be an educator. But so here we are, 2016, I leave my corporate 9 to 5 secure job with the benefits, right? And the 401k. So that had been really prior to actually doing that. we took about maybe 2 years of just talking about what would that look like. He was already in real estate, not really doing it to the degree that we are doing it today, but we had this vision of building this together. So it really took probably like 2 years before we made that decision to leave that, because that's what the world says is safe, right? And secure.
Yeah.
And to really just me go and get my license and do this. And I was so scared because I never really liked school. Like that was so scary for me. So we did that, right? So we're on this journey trying to figure out what it is to like work together, to be a husband and wife team. And we just felt like, you know what? We need to be around people like us, or people that are doing what we're doing, so that we can learn from them, so that we can encourage one another, maybe share some of the things that we've done wrong and what we've done well, and vice versa. So that's really where that meetup stemmed from.
I
And
love that.
we didn't
I love
expect the turnout we had. And we certainly didn't expect Veronica Figueroa to show up.
Well, that kind of helps me segue into what's important, right? I love that you guys were doing that. You were, following your heart, following your purpose, and that, one thing is that we do this for a living, but we want to find like-minded individuals, right? That we can be inspired by, that we can learn from, that maybe have walked the path before, that we can get some advice from. And working with your spouse is not an easy task. It is
No.
not. And, you kind of are like, blending in work at home, and then it's all work because you're startup mode, and it's hard to turn off and turn on, and you want to hear from others how they're making it work. And I love you guys for doing it 5 years ago. One of the things that I give I always tell people what I did really well early on in my career that I'm super grateful for, and I learned this from a mentor, was call other people that you feel you're inspired by, or you aspire to be like, or they're just doing great things. Invite them to lunch, and you know just pick their brain, offer how you can serve them. And it was something that I was like, oh, they'll say no to me. Why would they and I always came from a place of how can I serve them. I used to do there was a busy REO agent back in the days, and I was like, I'll do your BPOs for free just so I can be around you. She's like, you don't have to
Yeah.
do that. But it was just something that I adopted early on in my career, and I will say it's one of the best things that I ever did. And I don't say I've made a lot of mistakes, but it was just something really cool. And I love that you guys did that. You know what? If you want to learn from other husband and wives, get in the room with other husband and wife teams. That's the
Yeah.
formula. If you
And
want to
I'm
be a
just,
top producer, get in the room with the people who are growing their business and wanting to learn their business. So that's something that I love that you guys did,
yeah.
way before a lot of the things that obviously people say, oh, people, because of this, whatever. No, it's just was your purpose. It was
Yeah.
just part of your heart and your passion.
Yeah.
And you guys also have done such an amazing job of becoming community pillars. Like you can't be in the neighborhood that we live in without knowing who you guys are, running into you guys, seeing some sort of event that you guys are a part of. And you are so invested in this community. And I know that you guys do it, one, because you love this community, two, because you love people, and you just happen to build a really great business around those two philosophies. But it's
Mhm.
inspiring to me. Why did you guys start doing that? How did that come about when you were thinking about, we're gonna do this husband and wife thing, we're gonna work together, we're also somewhat newlyweds, right, at the time when you
Yeah.
started your real estate business.
Yeah.
And then you decided to go all in with this community. Anyone who's listening, I want them to understand the importance of when they make that decision, not only doing it one time, you guys committed to it, and you've been
Yeah.
doing a damn, pardon my French, doing it. And what was the mindset behind that? And maybe anyone who's listening who wants to duplicate that in their market.
Yeah. So it's funny because we live in North Lake Park. When we got married, we lived in the back of the neighborhood, which is Water's Edge. And we about a year after, we ended up moving to the front of the neighborhood, kind of a bigger house. We don't live in a big house, but a more roomier house. We had the two boys. It was like a house that was now ours together because Kevin had owned the townhome before we got married. And so when we moved to the front of the neighborhood, he was he wasn't really happy. Like he felt like he didn't know anybody here, right? He knew everybody back there, but here, and if you know my husband, he likes to talk and he likes to just engage with people. So he wasn't super happy. And he didn't really know the neighbors. He asked me one day, he's like, babe, what do you think if I buy like a big inflatable like screen and a projector and we host a movie night in the field, like down the street? We have a really big field. And I was like, babe, you're crazy. Like, who's going to show up for that, right? Like, no one's going to come. He's like, just trust me. I'm like, okay, fine. So he did that. We printed out these like little door hangers, flyers, and just walked the whole neighborhood, gave everyone an invitation, and people showed up.
Wow.
And we were like, wow. And it was just so awesome because we were able to meet our neighbors. We were able to meet the people that lived down the street from us that we didn't, we hadn't known before. And then that just became something that we did every month. We
So
just decided,
consistency too. You didn't just do it once. You guys
yeah.
knew you
And
wanted to meet your neighbors. You got out there and you kept on doing it. Realtors, did
yeah,
you hear that?
yeah. It's like, you know what, you gotta, and the thing is like the first 3 months of doing that, we didn't really get any business from it. It's like we were doing it because we wanted to build community. We want to cultivate, build community, build relationships. But then as we kept doing it, I think it was really into like the 4th month that we saw like the 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 fruit of our labor, but not just business wise, but just the relationships that we were forming with our community, with our neighbors. And that is definitely, obviously what we value more. So it just kind of like, it worked out like in every way, I guess.
I love that. And I mean, I don't know if you guys are listening, you feel that that's a nugget, but that's a big nugget that I think you guys should write down. That's writer downer. The consistency and the fact that, there was a desire to really get connected with the neighbors because, just he was a social person. Yvette supported it. And then they stayed consistent. I will tell you, I've been to dinner many times with you guys, lunch with you guys. And there is not a restaurant in town or a place that I've ever been with you guys that someone hasn't stopped you guys to give you a hug, to just say hi. You guys are dearly loved in your community, in our community, because now I live here. And when I moved here, you guys also made me feel so welcome. And I want to thank you guys for that. It kind of felt like the new kid on the block. And yet here you guys were embracing, well, at the time, most in the industry would call a competitor. Why? Why is it that you guys are, which, I think I know the answer, but anyone who's listening, like, why is that important to do?
I think it really stems from your heart, because going back real quickly, I want to address something when I talked about like the events that we were doing and the consistency behind it, right? People can do something because they think it's going to bring them business. But when you do it out of your heart because it's who you are at the core and you're doing it with good intentions, then you want to keep doing it, right? Like it's easier to be consistent. I'm not saying it's always easy. Like, girl, there's times where I'm like, really? Like, we got to do this. But when it's who you are at the core, you do it and you love doing it. And and you can be consistent. You can't be consistent at something that you're going to think sucks or that you don't want to do. Like that's just
That
not
you're
going to
not passionate about, that you're not
right.
passionate about, that it's not
Exactly.
true and it's not authentic. Oh,
Exactly.
we take little sound bites of our Fire Friday and repurpose them, and that one was a repurposable. I
Yeah.
love that. I wanna make sure that one we definitely highlight. That's so beautiful, and I felt it. You guys obviously, like I said, made me feel very welcome, and I am so grateful for that, and not everybody does that, so I wanna thank you publicly. I know I've told you personally. That meant so much to me. You
Yeah.
guys were a
Well,
big
thank
part
you.
of making me feel like after living in a community for 16 years that I moved, I made the right decision and I felt welcome from, early on. And it's part about, it's the most special part about being a part of a community is that it's not
Yeah.
just a house, right? It's not just four walls, it's the people, it's the experiences. And that was one of the experiences that really helped us feel welcome. And it was beautiful. So I thank you. And you didn't have to do that, but thank you for being you. And why? Why should more people, welcome, let's say, what quote unquote is their competitor, but really we've learned from each other?
Yeah. I'm going to keep taking you back to the heart, Veronica, because I'm a heart-centered woman. So
Love
I think, for me, first of all, just to give you some props, like it was easy to do that with you because when I first met you at Marlowe's that first time, I felt like a draw to you. Like I felt like you and I could hang and we could like, we could, forget the real estate. Like we can go shopping together, we can hang out, whatever. Like there was just a connection there that I felt with you. But you know, I'm not going to pretend that I've always felt like there's not competition, right? Because I think that's like I had to shift that as well. Because when we started farming and Kevin started teaching classes about farming, I remember, and he'll tell you one time, I'm like, babe, why are you going to tell everybody what we're doing? You're giving them our secrets. Like, don't do that. Like, who does that, right? But that was my lack of coming from a place where there's enough for everybody, right? And my lack of faith, really, to be honest, because and that's where my faith has grown too, and just really believing that what is for us. And it
that.
doesn't matter who comes in to our territory. If it's for us, it's for us. And there's plenty of it to go around. And I think that's where it's here, but you got to bring it down to here. I mean,
So
it's for
good.
me, it didn't happen overnight. Like it's been a heart journey for me. I've had to do the heart work. So I'm not sitting here saying that, here, take it and now run with it because it's your process, it's your journey, and you have to get there in your time.
We say the hard work and the slow work, but she just took you to the
I
heart
said
work.
heart work.
She's did the heart work. I love that.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. The other day I used your quote, that the thing you always say, bless it or block it, bless it or block it. And Rich was like, oh, I like that. I was like, bless it or block it. And I remember when you said that, I was like, yes, girl. Yes.
Because in the
Oh,
end,
so good.
look, we're all in this together, right? And we can either play together or we can be like this. And I'd much
Yeah.
rather play together, learn from each other, just have just want good things for people. And again, it's you have to get there. You really have to get there. And it's really important to surround yourself with people that are going to help you get there. You know,
So beautiful. Yes, thank you
that's
so much for
critical.
blessing us with that message. With the first time you and I said, "Hey, let's have a girl date," right? We went out and we met up for dinner. I think that's when I had just started my journey of not drinking, and you got to know me. I got to know you. It was just you and I. I think we sat for 3.5, 4 hours just
Yeah.
talking life, talking the journey, talking about family, overcoming, trauma, all these things that when you look at it and you peel back the layers, we've all had to overcome something, some more traumatic than others, whatever. But the heart and the brain, right? We don't know how to differentiate and saying hers was more traumatic than me. In the end, the trauma I went through was my trauma. The trauma you go through was your trauma. But it was interesting to know that we had so much in common, and we could just sit there for hours and talk, and you had shared your heart of this mission for women, and women who have been able to perhaps restore faith, or forgive themselves for things that maybe they had shame or judgment towards themselves. I'm getting chills right now just thinking
Girl,
about that
preach,
moment.
mama, preach.
And you were saying, sometimes, we're worried about other people judging us and all this stuff, but we are the worst and we judge ourselves. And, having to go through that journey of forgiving ourselves, learning to grow through these, traumatic experiences, whatever. And you're like, I want to help more women know that it is okay to overcome things that have happened to you in life. And, I want to scream it from the top of my lungs that whatever they've gone through, we are here to help, and we can do this if we just
Right.
open our hearts to more, to each other, to more women, to let them know it's okay, right?
Yeah.
And you had talked about buying this land and this house and what you envision. Let's manifest that. Let's call it out to the universe and let's share it with everyone. What is this vision that you have that I know that you're gonna one day, very soon, accomplish, to open the doors to many women who can experience this retreat that you dream of?
Yeah. So that's scary. You just gave me chills, girl. Um, and one of the things I'm learning, especially in this year, in the last 6 months or so, is to dream and dream big and believe because God is a big God, and sometimes we put him in a box and we compartmentalize him, right? And I'm a woman of faith, so I pray to God, and one of the things that I feel he's really deposited into my heart through my own story. And that's the beauty of it. Like we go through stuff, right? We go through trauma, pain, whatever. Like our stories are story, but if we allow space and if we allow light into our hearts, so much beauty can come out of that, right? And so my vision and my dream and my desire and my hope is one day to have a casita,
Mm.
a house that I could not necessarily house women, but a space where they can come and I can have gatherings, I can host gatherings, we can bring in, women who can speak life into them, have workshops, just man, just hang out, right? Like I just love being around women. Like women honestly are my passion. I know that sounds kind of creepy, but I'm passionate about women and their stories because we're so resilient and we
Yes.
we carry so much, and if we would just use our stories and our voices and share them, I mean that is the segue to sometimes other people healing, other women healing because we're so much more alike than we're different. And let's take off the masks, let's stop pretending that we don't feel this and that we don't go through these things, and some of them are deep and some of them are hard, and you need like therapy for that, right? Like I've been through
Yes.
therapy. I mean, I still go to therapy. But it's
Girl,
it's
every
like,
week, right after this, I'm going to therapy.
yeah,
Every
and
week.
it's not, it's really just because our traumas are trauma, like you said, and mine is not any greater than yours and vice versa. And we carry that, right? Like we can learn how to manage and heal and stuff, but it's still part of who we are and we're going to carry it throughout our life. So we have to learn how to manage it and surround ourselves with people that are going to just continue to, help us on this journey.
Well, I will say this, until the casita is deeded in your name, and I feel that there's going to be a finca, and there's going to be a way that we can plant and just, oh my God, just connect with nature. In the meantime, I know because you are a woman and you are a woman who just is on a mission to help more people, that people can reach out to you and have a conversation if they need someone to help them navigate through that. So, you guys, if you're not following Yvette Kendrick, she is someone that I am telling you, will bless you, and just hearing her speak, just that the life that she can breathe into you is that of just a true sister who wants you
Yes.
to
Oh,
thrive in life, spiritually, financially, mentally, in your marriage, in every aspect of your life, which is why she is a guest here today and did not disappoint. And I know we will have her back. And I probably will say it's when we're celebrating that casita.
oh my gosh.
And I'm gonna hold you to it. But listen, I'm so grateful for you. We try to keep Fire Fridays to a short little, segment, but this was super powerful. This was beautiful. You are beautiful, my friend. I'm so
Thank
grateful for
you.
you. And I'm honored to call you a partner. Also, you and your husband recently partnered with EXP, and we know that you're gonna bless. One plus one does not equal two in this world that we're living in. One plus one can impact the masses, thousands, millions. And not only are you going to do so with your message about the heart, the purpose, the passion, but also with your guys' amazing, what you bring to the industry and how you're helping so many other people thrive in the industry. So, guys, thank you so much for listening today and tuning in. This one is definitely ranking my top 10 so far for the
Thank
year,
you.
in the last 6 months. But I will say, we're honored to have you here, sister. I love you. I'm so grateful for you. Keep on doing the heart work
Yes.
because more people are watching. Take us away.
Love
Thank you very
you.
much.